Tell us more about the idea and the inspiration of the Green Board Game Company.
Okay, Paul, well, it's really twofold. The idea was born out of a very long traffic jam on the M25. I was coming back from Heathrow, big traffic jam, and I got bored, and so I started making words out of the letters on a number plate, and yeah, a game came out of it, and looking at different types of animals, beginning with different letters of the alphabet, and the game we called Alpha Animals, based on the alphabet and animals. And so that was the product idea, but the other inspiration was sitting in that traffic jam thinking, well, our first child had just been born, and here I was yet again coming home at 10 o'clock after a late flight, and there's got to be something better than this. So it's a marriage almost between two different things happening. One working too many hours in the corporate world, and the other one having a germ of an idea and thinking, I wonder whether that'd work, and putting the two together. So those were the two inspirations behind it.
See, the thing is, though, we've all had those sort of light bulb moments where
Yes.
we go, that would work.
Yep.
Very few of us actually translate that into something that's a product or a service or an activity. How difficult was it for you to take that M25 idea and make something out of it?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and really it comes down to, I'll probably put three things here. The first thing is making sure you do have a product, because let's go back to your idea of a light bulb. Yeah, great, people do, but is it really a good idea? So what I did was I got 12 games made up, not very many, and then I did a questionnaire, and I gave those games to neighbours, not particularly close friends, but people I knew, and said, look, be as brutal as you like. And they were sort of a bit handmade, the games, but that feedback I got was invaluable. And it was good because most of the comments were very, very good. And from that, I did my first very small production run of 1,000 games. So really, I guess the first thing is make sure the idea of the product is right. The second one is, don't muck around. If your spouse, your partner, is in agreement as well, and that's really important, don't try and do it at 9 o'clock at night after a really, really busy day. Go for it wholeheartedly, because otherwise I don't think you'll succeed trying to do it on a part-time basis. And the third thing is, a lot of people have an idea and think, yeah, we'll go and do it. And then they think, well, where can I sell it? And what they always do, well, not always, what a lot of people do is only think of local areas of selling, and it's a massive world out there. You have the luxury of the internet, so you can, with a good website, you can appear a lot bigger than what you are. But the other thing is trade fairs around the world, and I would say think globally. Our best-selling line, for example, is called BrainBox, and we've got 25 different versions of it in 25 countries, and we sell it in the local language because we've gone to trade fairs, met partners over there who know their markets better than us. And now, for example, our games sell in Mandarin really, really well, because we met somebody over there at a Hong Kong trade fair who sells all the way through China, and did a deal with them. And even if you can't find a distribution partner, you might even be able to license the idea to somebody, and that's another way of getting sales in an overseas market without a lot of expenditure. So those are the three things. Get the product right, do it properly, and think globally. I think those are the three things I would say.
And of course, board games, they've got a great history and do seem to be making a comeback, don't they? I mean, despite all the great technological games that are around, there is something that's very pleasing about sitting down with a couple of bits of cardboard.
Yeah, I don't think they ever went away. I think other things got a lot of exposure. So a number of times it's been said to me that, computer games are going to kill board games, and apps are going to kill board games. But when you really think about it, there's a social aspect of playing a game when you can have different ages, different generations playing. You can't do that with an iPhone app, for example. You really... it's really good, and I think if you develop a game properly and design it well, you could have a 7-year-old playing with a 77-year-old on a level playing field. And that's the trick of the game, to make it accessible to lots of different age groups and ability levels. And if you do that, you've got something that's going to work.
And is that the secret of enjoying board games as well? To actually get the whole family down playing it, let the frustrations bubble over, let the enthusiasm and the excitement get out of hand and create memories.
It is creating memories. And I think the other thing is not make it too difficult. I mean, as a society, Britain is very different to other countries. In Germany, for example, if their game of the year will have a rule book that'll probably take you 4 hours to read, and the Germans love it. You know, it's their psyche. You know, I really believe that a game you've got to be able to explain the rules in less than 15 seconds. And our best-selling line, BrainBox, is exactly that. In 15 seconds, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I can tell you exactly how it plays. You look at all right, here we go. Think of a map of a card with a map of France on it. On that map, you've got Paris, the Arc de Triomphe, some baguettes, and the surrounding countries. You look at that for 10 seconds, turn a timer over, roll a die, and whatever number you get, you've got to answer that question. And the question may be, how many baguettes are there? Or does Spain border France? Or how many are the flags of the colour? Are the stripes of the flags horizontal or vertical? You know, the questions like that. So you've actually got to observe it. And it means that the 7-year-old can play with their grandparents or people who are substantially older and probably win.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that at all. Not if they were playing against me. But that is brilliant because, let's be honest, how many of us want to read a rule book or indeed instruction guide? We don't do that sort of thing.
No. You want. It's a great togetherness, and it doesn't just have to be a family. It's a social gathering. We sell a lot of our games into the school environment. For example, using the BrainBox, the idea I've just explained to you, we've made the Year 3-4 maths curriculum accessible. So in thousands of schools, they use this because children don't think they're playing a game; they're actually learning something, and it's just sort of helping with the learning process in a way that they don't realise. Yeah, so and you can have a lot of people playing this. You don't have to have one or two. We've got a rule for one player, but you can have 10 or 11 people playing this game. You know, because you're only looking at a card for 10 seconds and rolling a die, so it doesn't take long for your turn to come. And I guess that's another thing about a successful game is having involvement all of the time. You know, and not having to wait half an hour while somebody thinks of the chess move, whether they should put the pawn 2 paces forward or 1 pace forward. You know, so that's another reason why a game is successful.
Any company that's got the word green in it these days, we tend to think there's an environmental element to what you're doing as well. That is a passion of yours, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And we started in 1991. And in 1991, you had a lot of games. When you got them, they were usually in big boxes, lots and lots of fresh air, or they were packaged in sort of plastic that you sort of almost needed a hacksaw to break into to open. And so we decided to make them in smaller boxes and make them out of recycled material. Now, the other thing we did, and it's called a carbon footprint these days, but I didn't even know what that term meant then, is we made them locally. So we've had our boards and boxes were made in Kettering, our cards were made in Canvey Island, and they were assembled in High Wycombe. And so having UK manufacturing reduced the actual transport of pieces, but we just did it for another reason. We thought it was a good idea to have jobs in the UK, and so that's why we did UK manufacturing. But it turns out it was a pretty good environmental thing to do as well. And even today, you know, we'll probably make 700,000 games this year, and you know, we make a huge percentage of them in the UK, and still do, and always will.
And good on you for doing it as well. Tell us where we can find out more about your range.
Yeah, and one was quite interesting. We've got an inventors page on our website. There's lots of really cool links. So if somebody does have that light bulb moment and want to do it, so it's all the W's, greenboardgames.com, and it's lots and lots of information on there, and you can try some games out as well online. Humanity
has been playing board games for centuries. It's time to make sure we don't break the tradition this Christmas. Gary Wyatt is from the Green Board Game Company. Gary, thanks for joining us.
And thank you, and have a great Christmas for you and your family.